Office stuff. Mexico Miguel would like to get a pay raise, probably in light of him wondering if his career is going to last much longer, if his stay in this promotion is going to last much longer. As I mentioned, terrible blood loss, terrible beating, terrible losing streak. I think from a realism standpoint, I probably should decline the pay raise. On performance grounds, it seems harsh to add insult to injury that way, but other than being like the fourth guy that allows us to run junior tag titles, where's the real incentive here if someone's job performance is not great, to put it mildly? Especially considering if I were to kind of backburner him, let's say, it would open the door to get some of those intense singles rivalries going again, where you're not just sharing a belt, it's not just a confused, gang war, it's a one man in the spotlight hoisting a single title saying, I am the best, period. So I might decline the pay raise. Seems like a dick move considering he's the original junior champion and he's contributed a lot. But, the realities of business and performance-based industries, it starts to seem realistic after a while that things might just take a downturn. Fittingly, very fittingly, the Midnight Knight, Warren Watson, freshly minted #1 contender for the heavyweight championship of his choice, says, hey, how about some more money? No problem, you will get that. In fact, you might get a substantial raise, because last time I checked, Watson's trust is only C grade. So you might get a hefty raise, we'll see. Here's another part of my job that I hate, as they say, as CEO Ken, Deathblow Ken, who is already well into obscurity. Speaking of Miguel possibly going into obscurity, Ken has been in obscurity for a while. Popped back up and then went back into the shadows. Hard to justify a pay raise if he's not really an active wrestler anymore, so you'll probably get disappointed too. How are the D's? I'm in consultation mode right now, so I can interact with some wrestlers. On the matter of trust, that's what I mean by how are the D's. We've got 3 D trusts, as in 3 guys who are potentially to walk out on us. So they're not yet sold on being here. So if you look at lower right of profile, got Chris Jericho, the Lionheart, Vampiro, and Edge. I might want to offer them pay increases. I think I've decided I will. Offer pay increases to these Ds, as I mentioned last show. Since I'm not hurting for money, and I would be hurting if anyone walked, because I like these guys, I've decided to pay all 3 in month 3 of this 4th year of the promotion. So, in order of them being mentioned, I suppose. Lionheart. $3,900, and keep an eye out for keep your ear out for that. It's going to be a pattern. Vampiro. $3,900. And Edge. $3,900. So, each at $3,900 salary per month. So I gave all three of them raises while keeping them all under $4,000 a month for salary. So $3,900 each. And it happens fittingly in episode 39. And of course, the midnight night, yeah, as earlier mentioned, with a C trust, so he's not at the danger range. So he asked for a raise, as we touched on. So I'm tempted to give the top raise to this guy as a rising star. But which still wouldn't be a whole lot, 1,200. Tempted to give the top raise, but he's already improved from D without any special treatment. He was D. He evolved to C on his own, without just because he enjoys being here, I suppose. And he has yet to win any championships, so I feel like the medium raise is appropriate. So he's making just over $1,000. Not bad. Okay. Speaking of Mr. Watson, let's go back to his profile. In February's #1 contenders match, the Midnight Knight prevailed over the $50,000 man. I mentioned then it should be winner's choice as to which heavyweight championship to challenge for. And Warren Watson has decided, and I quote, "If I am any kind of true knight, I should fear no opponent, seek no easier path, aim for excellence in the highest profile and status possible. Therefore, he will in fact challenge Big Titan for the top title in the promotion, Canada's Heavyweight Championship." But not so fast. Just as I'm sitting down with Watson to sign for the title match and make it official, into my office walks Satan's general, who bluntly informs the Midnight Knight that the 6 tag champions have no challenger. And since this title is the whole reason the general brought the Knight into this promotion to achieve that championship, Team Satan, 3-man edition, will challenge. So, I look to the Midnight Knight expectantly, asking, "Mr. Watson, are you facing Big Titan?" To which the Knight lowers his head and sighs, saying, "I cannot. I swore allegiance to Team Satan, and a knight must have honor above all else." So, to my exasperation, I have no challenger for Big Titan. What is a CEO to do under such circumstances? Improvise. I get on the phone to the United States, where Ace, Matt Gibson, took a hiatus to support the bereaved Owens family. Of his old DFW friend, Mr. Stoic. And why Gibson? Well, you might recall Ace is the only other 8 defense. What is that, 8? How many fingers is that? 8, 8, 8. The only other 8 defense singles champion besides Big Titan from when Dramatic Fight Wrestling was independent of the Canada Wrestling promotion. So, 'tis only fair the Ace gets to stand in the way of Big Titan trying to break that tie for singles glory. And what better incentive could the Ace have to make his comeback than to challenge for Canada's heavyweight championship? Meanwhile, to save face, perhaps, wise man Ted Axel, the $50,000 man, claims, I emphasize, that he lost the Midnight Night match from previous event, lost that match on purpose toward his true goal, challenging his old Pearl Harbor partner, the Baron Charles, for Dramatic Fight Wrestling's heavyweight championship. And why? Because the Baron verges on tying Ted's prestigious 3-defense reign for this title, which is the best since this championship was brought over to this promotion. The wise man will personally stand in the way of what the Baron will try to achieve. So that's it for preview. We can now get to the match rundown. First 2 matches will be for Dramatic Fight Wrestling Championships. Match 1, DFW Tag Team Championship. As the 2 Canadian members of Sharpshooter Syndicate, Hitman, Canadian Sensation, will defend for the 3rd time against Team Best Friend. Not just on 3rd time's the charm grounds for KO and Lionheart, but if you look at the match evaluations of the first couple matches, 98% in January, 100% in February. So this remains a marketable matchup. Match 2. Pearl Harbor explodes anew as Ted Axel, the $50,000 man, challenges his old partner, the Baron Charles, for for the Barons DFW Heavyweight Championship. Match 3 is the 3-on-3. As mentioned earlier, Team Satan, the General, the Knight, the Foot Soldier, will compete for the 6-Tag Championship. Possessed by Team Canada Blue, Wolf, Omega, Big Mike. Match 4. Junior Championship. As Big Man Complex Owen Miller faces the irredeemable Shota. So why the gear change back to singles in the junior division? 2 reasons. 1, as previously mentioned, Mexico Miguel, bloodied and battered in his most recent appearance, and beaten so repeatedly in recent times that for as much physical as psychological reasons, I think needs time off. And he'd be sitting out this month anyway, as you see in the middle with his neck is in the red, so danger. So he'll be out, and perhaps for a while, Mexico Miguel. You'll have to see another one of those question marks for the future of the guy. And the second reason brings us to the next match for Canada's Tag Team Championship. Second reason why going back to junior singles is because that frees up Christian to rejoin with an old friend and possibly bring back some of the old glory days like they had in WWE as they face Team Terrible for Canada's Tag Team Championship. And then, match 6. As mentioned earlier, Ace Matt Gibson will challenge Big Titan, the King of Canada, for Canada's Heavyweight Championship. And then, finally, the main event. Vampiro and Iron Mike Sharp will face in tag action the Blue Blazer and Blue Hair. So we have a Team Black versus Team Blue. So a black and blue closing of the show. And the main event incentive for Vampiro to have his trust increase from D. Again, you see lower right of his profile. Main event incentive for Vampiro to improve his trust. And as a footnote, before we get to that, Blue Hair, though ultimately not equal to the challenge of dethroning dominant champion, big titan. He did have the champ in his sharpshooter finisher late in the match from previous event, bringing honor to his faction, and his defeat carries no shame. So let's check on the venue. So we're in the rural, large setting, $80 ticket price with social media advertising. Brings us audience forecast of well over 28,000. In light of being at the big venue, confirm. Merchandise. I think we can justify creating 10,000 photo collections, since we have a lot of people who should be able to buy them. 10,000. Always seems like a massive commitment, doesn't it? 10,000. Okay. And while we're at the managing business, training center. So touch-ups on the medical for health. Get these normals back in good condition. Judo coach. Take a hit without getting injured. Good idea. Balance ball. Train your core to reduce chance of injury. $105. Seems well worth it. And clinic. Consult with doctor for health and self-care advice. Increases injury recovery speed. So that's health. And will also improve the lounge, which helps prop up the trust of wrestlers, less likely to lose trust, which means more likely to stay with the organization and not walk out or demand special treatment. So it's kind of a lot to maintain, but I mean, we got 3 guys, as I said earlier, that have D trust, so. And that just barely puts us at expenses 400,000 at the top there. We were 396 and change. So with that 4,000, we made it. We got to an outrageous expenses of 400,000. So finally, rec room, we can disregard that since it's about scouting new talent, which I'm done with, at least for now. So what else for now? The old view title belts. View title belts. So, it's worth pointing out, I gotta stop saying so much. Team Terrible are now 5-time Canada's tag team champions. 5 times. That's most reigns of any title. Most by anyone for any title. 5 times. As we glance through it, they were the original champions, of course. 3rd time. A couple other teams before they became the sixth champion. 8th. Again, a couple champions intervening, and now the 11th champion. 11th champion of this title, 5 times. Canada's Heavyweight Championship. As I mentioned, Big Titan. 8 defenses. Which ties 8 defenses for this individual ring. Which is tying with Matt Gibson's old DFW. You see there for the 5th reign of this title, Matt Gibson also had 8 title defenses. 1 reign, so that's what's at stake. Big Titan aiming to eclipse that mark, leave it behind, and Matt Gibson will oppose that. So staying in this list, actually, Dramatic Fight Wrestling's Heavyweight Championship. Just below, the very next reign. Ted Axel with his 3 title defense reign there. 3 title defenses in that reign. Aiming to prevent, we go to the bottom, prevent Baron Charles from tying that 3 defense mark. And, perhaps more broadly, more importantly, for the wise man, can he become $50,000 champion for the 3rd time? Because not only does he have a reign for this title, he was also Canada's heavyweight champion. 1 time each, going for a third time total $50,000 champion. Won't have to wait long to find out. Let's proceed. March of year 4. Match 1. The history of this rivalry goes back to episode 34, which unfortunately featured, I don't know if that's even the right word, it's kind of a ghoulish term to use for the occasion in which the cousin of Kevin Owens, Mr. Stoic, was killed in the ring. Well, in a match. It was outside the ring. And 5 months later, the dispute still goes on with Bret Hart. The KO Hitman rivalry playing out primarily in the tag, as Team Best Friends seeks to take these DFW tag team titles off of Sharpshooter Syndicate. Going old school with the drop toe holds and the arm drag takedowns. Good fundamentals. Excellently executed by the excellence of execution. Bret the Hitman Hart. Leg drop to the back of the head. Well, things didn't go well in that early going for KO at all. Defers to Lionheart. Assisted powerbomb softens him up a little bit too, this KO, before he exits the ring. And, you know, Bret Hart winning that opening foray, as we see the double vertical suplex out of the ring, is a bit of a microcosm of how much the Bret Hart-Kevin Owens rivalry has gone the way of the Hitman. Kevin Owens still seeking some measure of personal revenge against the Hitman. Lionheart got some on his behalf when he defeated the Hitman on Christmas.
Okay,
Jericho getting psyched up before going out after his man, but the sensation rolled back in the ring. Vertical suplex. So we're seeing some good teamwork. My best friends so far, more than once they've worked together. Third time on the assisted powerbomb. Can that teamwork ultimately result in a championship? Vertical suplex out of the ring. This time Jericho wasting no time. Going out on the floor to pursue the sensation, but it didn't last, did it? Swiftly back in the ring and swiftly off the ropes. Sensation realizing ramming bodily into a large man like Kevin Owens probably not a good idea. Gets the Hitman tag back in, which was a combination that was serving Sharpshooter Syndicate well in the early going. I was about to say maybe what's gonna allow KO to get some advantage over Bret Hart in this rivalry. Maybe an eye rake might just do it. But the Hitman returns the favor. Blinding tactics. Body slam. And going after the foundation there a bit was the Hitman perhaps setting up the Sharpshooter for later. Damage the legs and then cinch in the submission hold. Baseball slide. And you might suppose, as we see the abdominal stretch applied, submission hold, that the Hitman should be eager to fight both of them, certainly to fight Lionheart after the defeat at the Christmas bloodbath. Assisted powerbomb. If you haven't seen episode 36, watch it not just for the Bret Hart Lionheart match, but for the fact that it was Christmas bloodbath. Landmine death matches. Some manner of rock bottom there by KO. Probably an unwise idea to try to muscle the bigger man. Probably a bad idea by the Sensation. And we'll see some teamwork now from Sharpshooter Syndicate. They perform their first assisted powerbomb. What was that? Sidewalk backbreaker. Yet another assisted powerbomb. 2 count only though as we reach the 9-minute mark. Heard the Canadian crowd cheering. After that, appreciating the action in this all-Canadian matchup. Here to open this event of the Canada Wrestling Promotion. Eye rake again. Sharpshooter Syndicate trying to utilize the 2-on-1 advantage there. Another abdominal stretch. Don't know if you've seen that too many times in this promotion. Twice in one match. We are in the ropes on that pin attempt. Sidewalk backbreaker again. Okay, now it's becoming a theme with the abdominal stretch. Well, this is match A, if you will, match 1. Sensational snap suplex. Going down low, maybe take some of the bigger man's strength away. Tombstone pile driver. That's one way to use KO's weight against him. Oh, the Sensation might have been trying for some sort of turnbuckle move, but he was intercepted by Lionheart, setting up what became more than one clothesline. DDT plants the masked head of the Sensation into the mat and wisely gets out of there. Even up the odds, escape the ring eventually. Another assisted powerbomb. Jawbreaker. Sidewalk slam. This should be a street fight with all these sidewalk moves. Backflip dropkick. Pretty good agility for such an older gentleman, Bret Hart. Russian leg sweep followed by the running elbow drop. Back body drop, rather old school. Hooks his man. We had 2 and change there. There's KO in there to make this, try to make the save, and another assisted powerbomb. Well, I mean, the edge and teamwork has to go. It's team best friend. Reversal on the vertical suplex out of the ring. The Sensation goes out in pursuit. We will have some out of the ring brawling. Dragon screw leg whip out there. Jawbreaker. Gut stomp. Violence continues. Oh, crossface applied. Not held for long though. If he had held that hold for a while longer, we might have seen a possible count out there. Didn't last. We'll see the Lion Tamer though. Lion Tamer submission. Sensational save, however. And he gets a ball kick for his trouble. Side Russian leg sweep. Ruin my finish, will you, says Lionheart as he goes down low. Against the man who flies high. Alan Hawkins, the Canadian Sensation, who gets tagged in. And they will utilize the 2-on-1. Double vertical suplex. Torture grind. Which seems to never submit anyone, but wear down. Work toward a possible finish. Vertical suplex into the champion's corner, the championship corner. It's better, the champion's corner or the championship corner? The champions, probably. The term championship comes up often enough. Anyway, Northern Lights suplex. Sensational suplex. More assisted powerbomb as team best friend seeks to win the battle of the teamwork, which I think they still have an edge, perhaps even a significant one. One might go back and rewatch the match just to count the number of assisted moves that took place. Whether a big or a small advantage, team best friend is utilizing tag team action. We saw an eye rake just recently against the Masked Man. Probably less effective. Some protection around the eyes. Another assisted powerbomb. Well, if team best friend is ever to win these titles and get the advantage in this rivalry, they're making a case for it. Now's the time. So they are working together. They're definitely acting as two in many cases. Cross-face submission attempt there. But it was not the legal combination. So really, it was not a submission attempt, was it? It was a submission hold, in that it's intended for a submission. Anyway, KO makes the breakup, and I believe we saw just recently the heart attack clothesline, Jericho executing it on Bret Hart. Presumably, Lionheart watched Bret Hart as a Canadian inspiration as Jericho was on his way to his own stardom. So the Sensation thinks twice about a turnbuckle move. Didn't trust that his man would be down long enough. Oh. A little bit confused maybe as to how to execute, how to handle being in the challenger corner and managing two guys at once. Sensation missed with that off the top rope, but he again wisely gets out of the ring when he's in trouble. Got the back suplex in and then got out of there while he could. Trying to fly again.
1, 2.
2 count as the team best friend appeals to the crowd with those arms raised in tandem. Asking the Canadian crowd, do you want new champions? There's a general buzz there. I think the people are enjoying it. I don't know if they have a rooting interest. They just want to see 4 top Canadian wrestlers at the top of their game, providing top quality entertainment. So, the Hitman escapes what would have been yet another double team move. Jericho returns the favor. Flying kick, side of the head. Surprise roll up, however.
2, 3.
Well, so you saw the Hitman was in there in time to cut off the save attempt by KO. KO tried to go around. Tried to circle around, but there wasn't time. In the surprise roll-up, the sensational surprise, gets the 3 count in another title defense for Sharpshooter Syndicate and 99% match evaluation. This matchup just continues to blow the roof off. I was almost thinking if the match quality dips substantially, then maybe we'll think about going away from this rivalry. But like I said at the beginning, 98, then 100, and then the slightest possible dip, just down to 99, which is still unbelievably high. So, I mean, still disappointment for team best friend, but I mean, it just seems to me if everyone's healthy, we might as well just do this again, because just think of it as like a traveling circus act, kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters. And team best friend is kind of playing the Washington Generals. They show up, they try hard, they lose in the end. So, you know, why not carry this on if it's going to be such high match valuations? Because that's what you want more than anything. The are you not entertained factor of it. So still, the Canadian members of Sharpshooter Syndicate, reigning long time now over dramatic fight wrestling, tag team division, still champions. Match 2. Dramatic Fight Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Wise man Ted Axel, the $50,000 man, seeks to become 2-time DFW heavyweight champion. Since he was the 1-time champion, his opponent, the champion, has carved out 2 reigns as Dramatic Fight Wrestling heavyweight champion. Former partners, Team Pearl Harbor explodes over a singles title, which they've done before. Teddy Twister to start things off. As has been mentioned, big body slam on the Big Baron. Vertical suplex out of the ring, things going Ted Axel's way in the early going. He will brawl on the outside into the apron Moves the Baron. Rolls the action back into the ring, where he finally gets some sort of offense in, a boot, while in the turnbuckle. That Axel looking pretty powerful so far. It's come out explosive. Body slam, though, across the Lit Cola main sponsor logo. Yeah, as has been mentioned in the past, these two former partners never really had much success as a team. They've been much more successful as individuals. They have each held at one point or another both heavyweight championships of this promotion. Not a lot of people can say that. In fact, they might be the only two. Some guys have only competed for Canada's heavyweight championship, though. That's sort of a footnote that's worth mentioning. The Canadian guys tend to focus on the Canadian championship. Those who are heavyweights. So, after the early going favoring the challenger, the Baron Charles has settled in there. Arm twist, shoulder smashes. Oh, agility on display. $50,000 agility. As the wise man escapes that, would have been probably a vertical suplex predicament, but he won't be. Well, yes, he will be. I was trying to be optimistic for the champion. But no. Backdrop on the reversal, and we're out of the ring again. Long Irish whip. Ramming into the guard wall. Dragon screw leg whip.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Backbreaker submission applied. No, yeah, as I was saying, after the early going certainly favored the wise man, I think the match has become much more even. Champion has settled in and has mounted some offense of his own. Rodeo armbreaker. Again with a Teddy twister. Perhaps the most devastating limb attack in wrestling. He would probably say that arrogantly. I do also like the dragon screw leg whip. Looks like you're just yanking the person's leg all out of joint. Superman punch. Will it be a super championship for the wise man? Body slam. So someone's going to equal the other's feet here. Well, we'll get to that in a second. More importantly, the steamroller. Ever the crowd pleaser. And we'll go back the other way, as we tend to. Just flattening the challenger in two different directions. Slow to his feet, it's worth pointing out. It's a miracle he got up at all. Pants pile driver followed by the low blow. Going low with that green hair. Running strike off the Irish whip. Referee almost gets taken out. This time, the Baron succeeds on a suplex. It had been countered earlier on. Like some sort of fireman's carry slam there. Hip toss. Old school. Oh. Offering a peace offering there. Friendship. We used to be buds. Why don't we shake on it? And, little bit of deception there. champ's not shy about things like that. So the running small package, rather unique move. Only a 1 count, however. So it might still be much more to play out here between these two guys. Vertical suplex onto the lightning bolt of Litcola. Cartwheel, reverse, Bundy avalanche. The Wise Man flies as well, setting up some spectacular combinations there. And now, right there, in the middle of the logo, the regal stretch, perhaps taught to Ted Axel by Lord Steven Regal, possibly. Into the sleeper hold. That was like a Brutus the Barber beefcake type of thing, wasn't it? Irish whip into the sleeper hold. Is that how we did it? If you remember Brutus Beefcake, how did he set up his sleeper finish? Oh, nut crush. Ball grab. Seems to me that might have been the finisher last time the Baron actually fended off the Axel challenge. Small package again, but we're in the ropes. Uh-oh. Oh, good lord. That time, into the pants, pile driver. Oh boy. And we have an abrupt and upsetting finish. The pile driver knocks the Wise Man clean out. The champion stands tall over his former partner. Pile driver knockout. So, with that win, not only does the Baron Charles stave off the challenge, but he will and does secure his 3rd title defense on this individual reign, equaling that benchmark, if you will, set by his former partner Ted Axel. And now these two men share the distinction of the greatest individual reign for this title since it came to this promotion, since it became part of the Canada Wrestling promotion. 3 defenses is the top achievement. And so these two are now tied. And, you know, we might have to do this one more time because A, Axel probably might want some get back after that. And 2, you know, maybe Ted Axel should again get a chance to stand in the way of the Baron breaking his record of 3 title defenses. I mean, I'm penciling it in. The Wise Man might need some $50,000 time off to recover. Probably will need a month to recover from the knockout. Generally, when people are finished that way, in that abrupt way where we don't need a 3 count, it's just like he's out. Typically, there's rest required after that. So in the meantime, what was the phrase a fan used previously? Still large and in charge, I believe were the words of Ed, longtime supporter. And his guy is still dramatic fight wrestling heavyweight champion, the Baron Charles. Match 3, the 3-on-3 for the 6-tag championship. Fresh from winning the #1 contendership. Fresh from a pay raise. The Midnight Night, yeah, was supposed to battle Big Titan for Canada's heavyweight championship. But pressed into service by his faction, Team Satan, the Knight, duty bound, has answered that call. Bitterness, maybe, at all, for the Midnight Knight? Deprived of his chance at individual greatness? And they face Team Canada Blue, the 6-tag champions. The Wolf giving ground there, maybe not a bad strategy. He seemed to have drawn the general forward and had him run into a chop. Vertical suplex in reply, though, by the general, using his momentum to knock the bigger man down. Knocked down in reply by Wolf Hawkfield. And not to be manhandled this early. Gets the counter on the backdrop, does the Wolf. Body slam on the big man, though. Satan's general, strong in his own right, and goes down low, rings the bell there. And now the two big men from Canada Blue teaming up on the vertical suplex out of the ring. And the Wolf barks at the moon as he goes out there to aid his longtime tag team partner, Omega, in the 2-on-1, favoring the champions right now.
12, 13.
Running shoulder by Big Mike, Boston Crab to follow it up. Satan's general, yeah, I was about to say, probably looking for some help. Been in there a while, get the fresh man in. His longtime partner, the Foot Soldier. And the general softens him up with an eye rake, and while he's discombobulated, Will Stewart puts that power on display, press slam, and then stomp to the face to add insult. Add insult to injury. But there's some power for you right back. Delayed vertical suplex out of the ring. And takes this opportunity to give Kenny a chance. Omega comes in there. Only man we haven't seen so far is the Midnight Knight. Maybe he's not too enthusiastic about this. Any chance of that? Maybe he just, yeah, all right, fine, I'll get in. I agreed to the match after all. And the power on display, tossing Omega out of there. And the Knight's just saying, what can I do? He's shrugging like, I don't even need to do anything to this guy. He's already getting beat up. But now we get blonde versus blonde. Vertical suplex as Omega is spilled away from the challenger's corner. DDT, though, in reply.
5 minutes gone.
Omega with a low kick there, let's just say. It was a pelvic impact. Kick down low of his own. Midnight Knight attacking the leg. Now he'll go spilling out of the ring. There's that word again, spilling.
2,
Big Mike goes out after him. Delayed vertical suplex out on the floor. Boom.
6,
Brutality. Not much padding out there. And the Knight had a long time to think about the trip down before it hit. And not surprisingly, get the heck out of there. And we'll have big man versus big man. There's another occasion where Team Satan uses their momentum to knock down a larger man. Smart wrestling, you might say. Giant swing. The Foot Soldier more than capable of manhandling even a large man like Big Mike. But Mike is back with the body slam. Spirited first 7.5 minutes. Huh. Okay. I was about to say big man tags out to big man, but Big Mike bypassed the Wolf in favor of Omega that time. Maybe Kenny was calling for it. Omega perhaps eager to show that even though he may not be as big as his partners, chance to prove himself a little bit against a large opposition. The foot soldier is rippling with bulky muscle. It's an impressive specimen, but Omega's handling him right now from a wrestling standpoint. Jumping vertical suplex, impressive.
1, 2.
2 count. I don't know. Should I be surprised we have a 2 count this early in a 6 tag? Under 10 minutes? Given that guys interchange with multiple partners.
10 minutes gone.
Foot soldier using his foot to escape trouble there. Pokes the eyes. Somebody. The action was a bit confused there. I thought yeah. Someone poked someone in the eyes. 4 men in the ring would be hard to follow. Don't want to miss anything. This is like, okay, so half crab center of the ring. Across the Lit Cola main sponsor logo. Both men trying for kicks there. But I guess since they were both trying it at the same time, they miss each other again. Battle of the boots right now, at least the attempted boots. The Midnight Night puts a stop to that confused lack of exchange by it was a DDT. And then some manner of suplex. The Midnight Night weathering the storm there. Worked his way through that 1 versus 2 disadvantage, and now he's back on offense. There he finally lands the big boot. Big boot to the face while his opponent was trapped in the turnbuckle. It's a good time to land that. He'd previously been attempting to hit a moving target, trying to kick the wolf. Speaking of kick, Team Satan arrives in force to reinforce. The Knight. He's back in the middle of the ring there, 1 against 1. Knight tags in General. Satan's General applies the cross-face chicken wing. Submission attempt. Arm drag takedown off of the Irish whip. Pretty good technical wrestling. The General's not just a dirty fighter. He can fight.
Golden Trigger!
Can fight fairly as well. Golden Trigger. And Omega, as you see, gestured for the General, get up. It's too early to be down. Eye rake. Good equalizer when you're giving up a bit of size. Running drop kick. Some agility on display. Wow. Whirling powerbomb. But in the bad part of town there. Gets booted, and now he's being chin lock submission attempt. Submission war down. Double arm suplex. Action gets moved over to the champion's corner. That's one way to save your partner. Wolf Hawkfield thwarts the foot soldier there with a ripping clothesline. Now more punishment coming the way of the foot soldier by way of these big blues. Clothesline, however, running knee drop. Foot soldier getting back on track, but he's clubbed back down to the mat. Wow. Vertical suplex slam. Figure 4 leg lock. We're not quite in the ropes, apparently. The referee asks for the give up. Doesn't get it. Assisted power bomb. Wild action. All 6 men in the ring. Quickly realize I can't call 3 things at once. Spectacular action, though. In this 3-on-3.
Here.
Delayed. Vertical. Suplex. Slowing down the pace a little is Big Mike. So slower pace might favor a heavier, more strength-based competitor. Charging up is Big Mike to punctuate that test of striking. 4 men in the ring. Just 4 this time. Not a full 6. Oh. Fire jumping powerbomb. Huh. So that was a Wolf death drop. Hawkfield death drop. Hawkfield death drop?
20 minutes gone.
Seems like you have to at least okay, we're 6 men in the ring again, by the way. Reversal on a Frankensteiner launch. German suplex. The foot soldier goes flying out of the ring. So busy pondering move designations that I didn't realize there's crazy action going on. Is that the STF submission attempt ball shot? We do not have a give up. We got 5 men fighting in the ring at the same time. Not for long though, as people must retreat. Oh! The Phoenix Plex. The Phoenix Plex has resulted in a finish. Look at the Midnight Knight. Screwed out of his chance at the heavyweight championship, standing tall over both blue big men briefly there. Phoenix Plex critical. Well. Well. Good for you, Midnight Knight. After having his chance to face Big Titan for Canada's heavyweight championship put on hold, he says, I'm going to turn these lemons into lemonade. Spectacular. Phoenix Plex. Critical finisher. Team Satan. And I think this is for the first time, right? 6 tag champions. Team Satan. Well, if you're the general, Stanley Adams, you're probably thinking, you see, this was my idea. I put this together. I brought this guy over. I was the mastermind. Probably in the post-match interview, Satan's general is probably taking all the credit. And the Midnight Knight, who's been a loyal servant to this faction, might just bite his tongue and let that happen. And yeah, I guess this might just put Midnight Knight's challenge of Big Titan on hold even farther now, because now he's got a title to defend of his own. Huh. I don't know how to feel for the Midnight Knight. He's he kind of got screwed. Now he's a champion, but kind of screwed in the process. Anyway, where does Team Canada Blue go from here? Wolf Hockfield probably needs time off, so probably not an immediate rematch here. So we'll have to see what happens next month for this championship, won by Team Satan, Canada's 6 tag champions. Match 4 for Canada's Junior Championship. Contested by 2 non-Canadians. Type B, Big Man Complex. The previous Junior Champion, going back to late in year 3. in which he didn't just lose the title to this man, Shota. Irredeemable. He didn't just lose the title, did Owen. It was a bloodbath early. Owen Miller ran into the buzzsaw that is the champion, well, now the champion. It was a bloody mess, and it seemed like Owen tapped out kind of early, kind of prematurely. I think the reflection at the time was that he might have panicked. Maybe he's not used to seeing his own blood. There was a lot of blood real early. And I felt like Owen Miller wasn't truly beaten down. He just had the fight taken out of him by the violent tactics that Shota brings. And wow, double shot on the fire breath. Just shooting those flames around doesn't land, but he sends a message. There's gonna be some heat brought in this match. So Owen Miller, it was in November he lost the title, so we got ourselves a preview of the Christmas bloodbath 1 month early, which Miller was quite content to sit out of. It's another one of those cases where for as much psychological reasons as physical reasons. Shota was more than happy to move on to December and turn the place red again, as he likes to do. So third time on the flame. We're at a pretty good rate now. Under 3 minutes, and we've seen three flame breaths out of Shota. We're better than 1 per minute now. It's a firestorm out there real early. Beat down from the back. The rear mount. And the challenger getting some offense, significant offense in there finally with the press slam, the power. The big man complex move from the big man complex man. Clubbing blows, which you tend to see from larger wrestlers onto smaller wrestlers. He fights big, does Owen Miller. Can he fight big enough to regain the junior championship? Always going to be a tough task, a tough ask, however you want to phrase it. And the man standing in your way is irredeemable. Jab and then getting out there. Look at the sophisticated boxing by Shota. Hit, no be hit. That's basically the principle of striking.
5 minutes gone.
Clubbing blow landed by Type B. I think this was the submission move from November that caused the title change. This time we're not in a river of blood. And we haven't really seen the bloodletting tactics employed yet by Shota. Any chance that he wasn't satisfied with their previous match? Maybe he's holding off on the blood tactics and say, I just want you at your best. I want to prove that I'm undisputedly the best junior. Hanging out in Canada today. And when you add up all he does, how devastating the complete attack is. Backbreaker, body slam, football charge. Wait a minute. Maybe I should stop yapping. The challenger putting power moves together. But then he eats the flurry of blows. And the champ is back on the offense. So a brief, brutal barrage by Type B. There's some B words for you. Clubbing blow, timed that well. The clubbing combo into the half crab. Thumping elbow drops to the back of the head of the downed champion. Headbutt again. We've seen that more than once.
1, 2.
2 and change. Center of the ring. But the champion quickly back on the offense. Springs to his feet. Applies that torture grind. There's that football charge again. Missing, but settled for the body slam, so power moves, ripping clothesline. Fireman's carry slam. So the power offense on display by the challenger versus the technique and the ferocity of the champion. The viciousness. Wavering. As we approach 10 minutes, it's been...
10 minutes
There it is.
gone.
Back to that fireman's carry slam. So flailing shots, haymakers from both competitors, not landing, however. Clubbing blow on the dazed champion again. Wow. Setting him up to knock him down. Does the challenger have things going the way he wants it here? Running splash. Throwing his weight around, such as it is, being a junior. One of those big man complex moves. He's got the champ laid out in the red corner, but he's gasping for breath. Does he have what it takes to do another, maybe one good surge of power? Might result in a championship. Shoulder tackle from behind on the day's champion again. I mean, you know, I think the challengers at times befuddled the champ a little bit. I mean, Owen has had a long time to think about losing his title. It was later year 3. We're well into year 4 now, several months in. Maybe he's devised a winning strategy to take this title back. Short clothesline. 2 count again. Discus punch to punctuate that combination. Clothesline. Floors. Oh. A lot of battering, beat-down tactics employed by the challenger. Normally, that's what the champion's known for. Haymaker, though. Ferocity of striking by the champion and following up with the... Oh, man. Pounding to the back of the head. There's that short clothesline again. Jake the Snake Roberts style clothesline. Oh, pulls his man down into a rear choke. Oh, we have it. We have a new champion. I mean, the challenger looked good. He was beating the champ down, battering him about. In the accumulation of those blows, we have the title change. No longer dual champion is Shota. He held both junior belts. He relinquishes one. Type B, big man complex, Owen Miller has regained the junior championship. And, you know, I mentioned earlier, it looked like Shota was putting aside the bloodletting tactics. Maybe he even realized there's a bit of an asterisk next to their previous match in which, yes, he won, but all that blood. Maybe he figured, I want to win this time without having, you know, without having that to be like any kind of out or excuse for my opponent. I mean, Shota kept it clean. He kept it fair. He uncorked the fire breath several times, which is, you know, that's cheating. But I mean, at least he set aside what was the reason for the previous victory. He tried to win a different way, and it cost him his title. We have a new Canada's junior champion. So far, both DFW titles retained, both Canada titles lost. With 2 more to go, beginning with the 2-on-2. But don't hold your breath. for another title change here. Because, despite the perhaps legendary status of Edge and Christian as a duo, they are up against, how should we say, a different animal? A bear, that is. Team Terrible, Canada's tag team champions. TTC.
Fight.
Of course, they are known to ride the subway in Toronto, right? Is that what it's called, the TTC? Could you imagine that? Sitting across from these two guys? Just trying to get across town, get to a major destination, and got a bear and a Jason from the horror movies. Anyway, the bear wins the test of strength, not surprisingly, a little ways ago, and now overpowering Edge. Hip toss, takeover with the headlock. Well, little buddy, he says as he tags Christian in, I mean, you can't do worse than me, so give it a shot. Okay, well, that's the kind of tactic that might give Edge and Christian an edge. Going down low. Don't worry about fighting fairly. You're up against a whole other species with a different proportion of physical strength and power. Terrible Ted with the Chicago Bears football charge just now. Standing guillotine. Only 2.5 minutes. Early enough for Christian to escape. Perhaps in a panic. Leg trip. Takedown. Again. I mean, how about the technique on Terrible Ted? He is a wrestler after all, the wrestling bear. All 4 men in the ring. Well, mammals. All 4 mammals. 3 men and a bear. Double clothesline. As Terrible goes to work. Now see if Edge can do better against the human member of the champions. Punch landed to the hockey mask. May not have done that much damage, but it set up the arm drag takedown. Wins a test of striking despite the hockey mask. There's still blunt force trauma. Jason was a bit dazed by the end of all that. Oh, going for the dropkick perhaps was Edge, but clothesline down. And then the falling hockey mask headbutt. Running Bulldog, however, to buy Edge time to get tagged out. All 4 mammals got it right this time. In the ring at the same time. Christian wasn't done with Jason. Maybe he figures might have a better chance fighting a human. Let's go over there and knock Jason off the ring apron. That's pretty crazy. So, the guillotine choke on the floor this time. In the ropes, however. Arm trap choke this time. Christian badly outsized and outstrengthed against a bear, but to his credit, tough guy, hangs in there. Now he's got to deal with that again. More wear down. At least this time he's saved by Edge. Less punishment. Catching his breath there while he watches Edge get beat down. Chicago Bears football charge eats only air. As I think it did earlier, the agile Edge escaping that calamity. too old up for a pin, but even the bear probably knows it's a bit early to attempt a pinfall. Not necessarily early to try a submission hold, because once the bear applies the bear strength, it might be hard. You might simply not even be able to get out of it. If you can't break it, doesn't matter how worn down you are, you're pretty much going to be like, I can't get away. I need to tap out before I get killed in the ring. Backslide attempt at a pinfall there. But it was invalid, not the legal combination. So it wasn't truly a pinfall attempt, was it? Unless Edge got confused at whether he was legal. That's possible. Once all four men get in there fighting like they are now. Jab. Jab landed by the bear. The bear even has some boxing ability. Just slaps his opponent in the head there.
10 minutes gone.
Little less technical. Oh, eats another ball shot. So Edge, back to what I was saying earlier, probably a good strategy. Go down low, attack a sensitive region. Huh. Rolls up the bear, but not even a 1 count. Bear just casually escapes that trouble. Oof. Throwing his weight around on top of Edge, the superior bear. Bear size and strength. Bear mare. Bear snapmare. Edge slings him into the champion's corner and escapes. Maybe they can work a 2-on-1 here. They probably need it. Edge and Christian. That's one thing that's lacking in this challenge for these titles that they could desperately need, is if they work together a little more. On a one-to-one basis, they're a little bit outmatched size and strength-wise by Team Terrible. But they're feisty. There's no quit in them. That's one thing you know. Tough guys, Edge and Christian, if you're not familiar with their TLC tables, ladders, and chairs days. Check some of those. Probably YouTube it. Now Christian, really in the bad part of town right now. Bad neighborhood. Eye pokes his way out of there. Through the hockey mask. Eye holes, but then he eats a pile driver. Jason perhaps making the point that if you're going to take away my vision, I'm going to try to take away the integrity of your neck connecting to your head. Outright chokehold.
3, 4.
Requiring the save there. Edge sparing Christian a little bit of suffering. And we'll get tagged out. Tagged in. More importantly, as all four competitors in there. The Vulcan neck pinch. Applied by the wrestling bear. Edge actually escapes on his own. Tough. Many guys have gone down a lot quicker against this Team Terrible. Double drop kick. Is it too little too late though? Better late than never, I suppose, on the teamwork. Bear hug. Applies that bear strength. Christian races over to make the save. Well, they've survived 16 as Edge and Christian. Did I underestimate their chances? Many terrible matches have gone shorter than this. Tried the standing guillotine there, but Christian was there for the breakup. Well, Edge has been having trouble escaping the ring. He's been too busy getting his ass kicked. Now Christian is alone there against the bear. Oh, reversal though. Reversal on the mat wrestling to get that ankle lock in there. Pretty sure we've never seen the bear submit nor lose. I don't think the bear's ever been finished. It's just a different an inequity of species, I guess, is what the main thing is. But after the spine buster, Terrible Ted actually tags out. Maybe he should have tried the guillotine choke while he was the legal mammal in the ring. Might have got the finish. And now Christian has a chance to escape, and Edge and Christian fight on. Double team. Any chance this could happen? Double vertical suplex. Backslide. This time we would have had a pin count had we not been tied up in the ropes. This time it was legal. Pinfall attempt deep in the challenger corner. Good time to do it. 2 count on the champions. Edge calling for the Canadian crowd to get behind the challengers. And they do. You heard the cheers. Running knee drop. And Jason the Terrible wisely utilizing that opportunity just to escape. He had the upper hand. Rather than risk being finished, he thought it was safer to get the bear in there. All reliable. 3rd low blow executed by Edge. Trying to wear the bear's balls down, I guess. How are those bear balls doing? Assisted vertical suplex. Pinfall attempt on the bear. Just one, though. Always going to be difficult to hold the bear down. Some sort of bear hug slam. Into the neck crank. And I guess it was probably likely. It seemed like Edge and Christian might have had an opportunity there against Jason the Terrible. Had a 2 count on him. But when the bear came back in, he put a stop to this. But a very, very game pair of challengers, competitive. Over 20 minutes, Edge and Christian. Taking Team Terrible. Huh. Well, this has been one of the better attempts we've seen to dethrone the Terrible team. And we might have to see this again then. I think there's grounds for rematch. Anytime you can take this team past 20, you're definitely competitive. But for the time being, still Canada's Tag Team Champions. Final title match of the event. And it's for the biggest prize in the promotion. Canada's Heavyweight Championship. Not the match I originally penciled in. We required a substitute. So it's back from bereavement. Ace Matt Gibson. What a way to jump back into the pool. Up against the best this promotion has to offer. He was supporting the Owens family for their tragic loss. The intent was always to come back. And what a thing to come back to. 8 defenses on this title reign. The seemingly unstoppable, unbeatable Big Titan, it seems. Has the Ace had some time to get a new lease on life, and will it help him? Is he just too rusty? Is this too much too soon coming back? Arm drag takedown. It's definitely going to be what he might want to do more of, is use his mat skills, so to speak. Matt should use his mat skills to keep Big Titan off his feet imbalanced so that he can't unload with things like that clothesline. Big Titan getting that power going with the vertical suplex.
Give up.
Titan hug. That's what it is. Titan hug. It's not a bear hug. I mean, in a general way, it's a bear hug, but his version. If there's one thing that might intimidate you more than getting bear hugged, maybe it's Titan hug. There's, in theory, no limit to the strength of a Titan. Running avalanche clothesline. And again, working him post to post. He's the champion. At the top of his game, defending against a man who probably needs to rediscover his game. If he can do it mid-match. I mean, I don't know how, to what extent Gibson has kept up his skills and his exercise while he's taken some time off south of the border. Presumably, he's done nothing to keep himself ready for this level of competition, however. But this is what brought him back. I figure he probably wasn't on any timetable, and I just thought, here's a time frame for you to return. How about you face the champ? Titan Spear, however. Titan Spear 2 count, double arm, suplex, casting the challenger back toward the center of the ring. Vertical suplex, but you know, it's worth Matt Gibson doing this though, I think, because as we talked about in the intro, Titan is on the verge of leaving behind the Ace's record of 8 title defenses for a singles championship. This would make 9. Titan pulls it off. At least I can say it gave Ace a chance to be the one to prevent that tiebreak. Vertical suplex out of the ring. And you know, what better way to get reacclimated? Just jump straight into the fire of the biggest possible contest you can. Oh, back suplex folds the challenger in half out there on the floor. Titan is just winning everywhere. Titan death drop. Oh, there's a small package though. Trying to steal it. Trying to just change the landscape of this match somehow. Would have been a shocking end. Seemingly looking outmatched, outclassed. Takes the champ by surprise and becomes Big Titan holding his arms up saying, does anyone want to see 9 title defenses? Rotating back suplex. Oh, clothesline though. Short clothesline from the Ace, but he's scraped up off the mat. Some fight left in him though, as he escapes that double arm suplex with the backdrop. 2 count on the champion. I mean, he may not have been controlling this match up to this point, but anytime you get a 2 count on a champion, must be doing something right. We're back to the Titan death drop. 9 minutes now. 1 more minute and you'll have lasted 10. Ace in your high profile return. Bowled over by Big Titan that time, however. How many Titan death drops can one man eat? Titan's tiring himself out from all these Titan death drops he's executing. Fall away slam though. Into the ropes. As the Ace is still in this. Oof. Powerbomb. chest press, arrogant pinfall. 2.9, not quite. Maybe if he'd hooked the leg. Any chance that costs Big Titan his title. A simple carelessness on not bothering to secure a really harnessing pinfall. The ace has new life. Oh, but he runs into a boot to the pelvis. Big Titan looking for some crowd participation as he goes to set up the finish. Titan spear. He just was toying with the challenger there. We knew that was 3. Good on you, Ace, for kicking out at the stroke of 3, but we knew that was curtains. We had a challenger who was barely able to stand. Big Titan arrogantly taking some time, looking around for the crowd saying, I'm the best. Now watch this. Titan spear. 9 title defenses, sets a new record for title defenses by any singles champion of any title, past or present in this promotion. He's the King of Canada. He's the best. The best the country has to offer. He's at the top of this promotion. He's the man. Canada's heavyweight champion, Big Titan. Big Titan. The main event, match 7. In fact, it's during a 7 o'clock hour that I record this. The fleeting moments remaining in 7 a.m. Boom! Crowd cheers as this all-Canadian Team Black comes down to the ring. And it occurs to me as Iron Mike Sharp climbs in that it would benefit Mr. Sharp if Vampiro could just improve his trust level from D to C. If you've been following recent episodes, talked about how Vampiro has shown me he's the most likely walkout risk in the promotion, and so I can't have a title on him while that's the case because he could leave with a belt. And so since I'm inclined to pair these two black-clad Canadians together, it's not the first time I've done this, Mike Sharp is being held back by extension from opportunities to win titles. Anyway, Test of Strength there, I believe, was won by the Blue Blazer. So the superhero strength proved to be greater than the undead strength. You think of vampires as having super strength as well. This would make for an interesting singles match. I should think about this. Oh, I thought Vampiro was going to tag out there. But now I figure, no, I'm not done trying to prove myself here. Some sort of superhero flying body press there by the Blue Blazer. I don't mind putting Vampiro in the main event, actually, because it's like, you think of the death of something being the end of something, he's undead. And we're going to be putting the nail in the coffin of this event with this match, much like Vampiro will rest in his coffin when this is all over. In any case, all 4 men in the ring. Phoenix Plex. We saw this used to devastating effect earlier as Wolf Hockfield was knocked out. I'm eager to check on his condition after this match. We had more than one knockout on this event. Wise Man Ted Axel was KO'd by a pile driver. So was KO Kevin Owens in a more recent event. That was November, I think. Episode 35. So yeah, that pile driver is a move that'll probably more likely than others to knock someone's ass clean out.
Give up.
Or worse, as we've seen. R.I.P. Mr. Stoic. Argument to ban the move? Maybe. But it is a spectacular move that has deep roots in wrestling, at least from my childhood. Back that. Teaming up on the flying kick. Pretty good agility for an old guy like Iron Mike. But you know, this might be his last hurrah. This might be his last chance to maybe make a mark in the wrestling industry, maybe win a title. Does give me an idea. I mean, I'm just spitballing, as they say, but always looking for a new challenger for Big Titan. Just saying. Gut wrench suplex. Superhero suplex by Blue Blazer. Flying body press into a pinning combination. Also occurs to me with the we got Superhero. We also have Sensation. Maybe the Blue Blazer could team with Alan Hawkins. Masked Men from Canada. And I think we saw that flying kick was actually meant for Vampiro a few seconds ago, but it struck Iron Mike instead, kind of by sort of succeeding on accident. Another one of those cases where I'm discussing the big picture and I'm realizing, okay, a move occurred, I should get around to calling it, even though it was like 12 seconds ago. Better late than never. Half crab. Better late than never is definitely the motto of Iron Mike right now. As he came into this promotion knowing that maybe not the wisest thing to do for his health, but as he said when he arrived in this promotion, he's paving the way for his son to someday join the organization. I know it's been a while since he announced that, but that is still the plan. Someday, the son of Sharp will join us. Will he arrive in time to actually team with his father? Maybe that'll be the route to a possible title shot for Iron Mike. Anyway. Assisted vertical suplex out of the ring. Oh, we got a weapon.
3,
Barbed wire baseball bat.
5,
That's a weapon that Vampiro used to go on to win
8,
Dramatic Fight Wrestling's heavyweight championship
10,
in controversial fashion.
12,
Those have been some of the more memorable moments for Vampiro, is when there's been hardcore elements to the match.
10 minutes gone.
Assisted diamond cutter. Blue Blazer tries to follow up with a drop kick, but Vampiro is already having a move executed onto him. Figure 4 leg lock, non-submission attempt, because it's not the legal combination. But get the wear down in there. Every little bit counts, working toward an eventual finish. Superhero snapmare. Superhero suplex. The wily Mike Sharp there lands a strike. Arm drag takedown, going classic. Headlock punches, why not? That's pretty old school. I don't know if they do that anymore. And the brawl, the fighting continues atop the Lit Cola main sponsor logo. As I yawn, as I said, it's 7 in the morning, which is not insanely late. Belly to belly, overhead suplex. If you get up around 1, if you go to bed at around 1 something and you get up at around 7 something, maybe you didn't sleep quite as long as you should have. Well, that's the way the mind works these days. All four men fighting in the ring. Oh, I saw that coming. It was too late to call it, though. Accidental collision. Wow. Guy's just flailing around with the clothesline trying to land. Phoenix Plex right onto the cola part of the logo. Huh. Iron Mike makes the save. Feel like Vampiro might have kicked out. But if you're Mike Sharp, why take the chance? I mean, this is one of your last matches. Don't lose it because you just trusted your partner to kick out. Because if you're Iron Mike, even if Vampiro might walk out on the organization, Mike is still battling for his position to maybe someday have a title shot of some kind.
1, 2.
Well, I think he's had a title shot, but it was a bit of a, it was a lay down match, I think. In any case, still without a title, that's the main thing. Maybe someday before it's over. Superhero, snap, suplex, superfly. From the top rope into the elbow. Superfly elbow. I don't know if that's the correct term. Kind of merged Jimmy Snuka's Superfly with Randy Savage's elbow to make like Superfly elbow. Those were two of my childhood favorites. And speaking of Mike Sharp, if you go back to that era, was my era. The late Mike Sharp era. When you might see him wrestle on Saturday afternoons. Delayed vertical suplex, superhero suplex strength is employed there with the delay. And we have a shoot takedown. Some sort of blue hair spear. This time it's Vampiro's turn to make the save. The blue blazer is body slammed out of the ring. Team Black tries the double team. Back to the Phoenix Plex. Into the corner of Team Blue. At least the side of the ring. 2.9. Figure 4 leg lock. Mike Sharp makes the save. Wily veteran. Body slams one guy, kicks the other guy to make the save on his partner. Half crab. Deep in the blue side of the ring, though. Breakup made. Blue again. Not what is that, like 3 times now? That this Team Blue has had miscommunication. Fire, jumping, power bomb. Not the legal combination, though. That is a pretty spectacular move. Vampiro flew like a vampire bat, misses. Now there might be some consequences, though. 2.9. Barely does Team Canada Black remain alive here. Sharp hug. Oh. Rather agile by Blue Hair there to avoid the chop and get tagged out. Nifty. Jumping headbutt. Don't know if I would trust myself to headbutt someone who wears a mask. They might be loaded with something like metal plate or something. The ref wouldn't be able to know. But I guess you could do a field test. You had reason to suspect that someone was loading their mask. To be like, okay, let me. Anyway. Meanwhile, Vampire looking pretty spectacular. Where do we see a Jean-Claude Van Damme jumping sidekick there? And then again, the Vampire bat takes to the air. Another flying headbutt. Double team by Team Canada Black. Suplex slam. Back cracker. We're going to do a leg lock submission. Blue hair cuts Vampiro off for making the save, but Iron Mike toughs it out. No surrender. Eats a clothesline, though. Was that a discus clothesline? I was too busy watching the Vampire Bat soaring from the top turnbuckle, at the top of the turnbuckle again. Running shoulder. To a chin lock. Well, we've had a lot of near falls, perhaps near submissions, maybe. Overhead, belly-to-belly suplex crashes into the turnbuckle. And then the stock market crash. Speaking of crashes, $1 Million Man used that move, that falling fist. Fire, jumping, power bomb. And we have 3. It's over. Gestures, blue hair. Fire, jumping, powerbomb finish. Team Blue prevails over Team Black in this black and blue main event. Pretty strong finish there. 92% on the 2-on-2. And so, back to what I was mentioning earlier. I mean, Iron Mike trying to at least work his way toward some sort of title shot. Losing and being the one getting finished doesn't help that, but yeah. Still like you. And yeah, maybe Team Blue. They do have color commonality. They're both blue, white, red. Maybe this puts these guys closer to some sort of title shot as well. Okay. So 88% average card rating. Pretty good. Enough for a great success. So, pretty cool. $3 million profit. Shade over $3 million in the middle there. Nearly 50 million total assets, the net worth of our promotion. And presumably, we will break the $50 million mark in episode 40. So join me for that.